My name is Haley Gallant, and I chose to talk about the country of Colombia. I chose Colombia because one of my good friends is from there. Some fun facts about Colombia is that the official name of Colombia is the Republic of Colombia. Colombia shares a border with 5 other countries, including Panama, Venezuela, Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru. Colombia is the only country in South America that has a coastline on both of the Pacific and Caribbean Sea. It is the 3rd largest exporter of coffee in the world, and it's mandatory for Colombia to play the national anthem twice a day on the radio. Here is the current exchange rate of the US dollar to the Colombian peso. This graph represents how the exchange rate has fluctuated over the years between Colombia and the US. Comparing the two GDPs of US and Colombia, you can tell by the graph on the right that there is a huge difference. The most recent GDP in the US is 21 trillion, and the most recent GDP in Colombia is approximately 323 billion. As seen in the graph representing the United States GDP, there are gray bars representing recessions. The most recent recession that happened in the US was in 2008. Unlike the US, Colombia does not have any recorded recessions. You can see in the graph below that they do not have any gray bars. When comparing the population between Colombia and the US, you can see in the chart that both have been gradually increasing. However, in the United States there is approximately 300 million people compared to Colombia with approximately 40 to 50 million people. Here I have broken down the per capita GDP for Colombia and for the US. As you can see, there is a big difference in numbers, and that is because the drastic difference in population sizes between the two countries. This graph records the unemployment rates in the US. In the graph, you can see a huge spike in unemployment rates, and this is due to the recession in 2000. This graph shows the unemployment rates in Colombia. Here you can see much higher percentages than seen in the graph of the US. The unemployment rates for Colombia show much higher percentages than the US throughout the years. The most recent percentage for Colombia is 10%, and the most recent for the US is 3.7%. The Consumer Price Index is the measure of overall cost of goods and services bought by an average consumer. In 2019, CPI in the US was 1.8 and in Colombia was about 3.5. This graph shows the extent to which the GDP in each country increases or decreases on the account of pricing. The GDP deflator differs from CPI because it reflects the prices of goods and services produced domestically, rather than CPI, which reflects all prices on goods and services bought by consumers. On each of these graphs, the green line represents Colombia and the blue line represents the US. In both cases, these rates are similar. CPI and the GDP deflator generally move together as they are a measure of inflation in each country. You can see this demonstrated in the two graphs. Thank you for watching my presentation on the economy in Colombia compared to the economy in the United States.